Hey, what's up? I'm Cody the Coin Raptor, and in this video, I want to go over Bitcoin and Crypto Chart TA and what I'm looking for this week, because it's going to be a very interesting week. But before we get to that, be sure to smash that subscribe button to see my latest content, and I would like to thank you guys all for viewing and liking and subscribing. I greatly appreciate that. So, what I'm looking for this week, Bitcoin has been really not going anywhere. For the past couple of days, it has kind of been stuck in the mud. It's been stuck in neutral. Even on a strong day for the NASDAQ, like today, the NASDAQ went up 2%. Bitcoin, on the other hand, only went up 0.86%, which is a little strange because normally the Bitcoin and the NASDAQ are very heavily correlated, and you expect them to move at about the same rate. So with Bitcoin, the reason why Bitcoin hasn't been moving in the same direction as the NASDAQ has is because volume has been getting incredibly weak lately. And let me go ahead and illustrate my point here. So volume right now has been declining heavily. If we take a look at the peak of volume here on the daily, it was the 14th of January. And then over the couple of periods after that, over about the next week or two after that, we've seen nothing but consistent volume decline. And so what that tells me right now is that without increased volume, we are not going to be able to push into this next resistance band that I've outlined here at 22,500 or 22.9 thousand to 25,000. It's going to be incredibly difficult to push into this band and push even higher without more volume coming in. And as we've seen here, the RSI on the daily right now is set to about 12 days. So it's been about 12 days since it crossed this line here at about 78. And it's been staying above 78 for 12 days now, though admittedly, one of these days is not even a full day, right? It's probably a day that's a couple hours old, but still, it spent 12 days at above this RSI level of what I've marked here at 78, which is a little bit unusual. Now, like I've said before, the last time this has happened, if we go all the way back, we can see a very similar thing kind of happen during the 2021 bear market, or during the 2021 bull market here, and we can see a kind of similar pattern play out here in which you have kind of one peak and then two peaks and then followed by a quick drop here. And this whole thing played out over about 12 days or so. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to play out the exact same way, but what I am saying is that contrasting these two times right now is very important because this right here was during an epic bull run. This was during the start of just an absolutely epic market, and it pushed prices even higher. Investors were in full-on risk-on mode, and they were willing to buy at any price whatsoever, and that pushed Bitcoin all the way up to about 64,000. Now, again, I don't expect this exact same thing to happen right now, but I'm definitely pointing out at this point that this rally right now is kind of sputtering out. And I do expect that over the next, we'll call it about a week and a half, that we're actually going to see that pullback. And all the data that I've been monitoring right now really points towards this type of situation in which you get a pullback. Now, where it will pull back to, I think, was probably going to be here at the bottom of this channel, which is at about 21,100 or so. That's about $2,000 less, or about 10% less than what it is right now. Now, if it actually doesn't hold that level, what you're looking at is potentially a drop all the way back down here to the 200-day moving average. And that right there would be a spot that I am very interested in buying at. I have not bought anything lately. I've been waiting for these prices to go down, again, very patiently, because I am not interested in buying this whole move up here. Now, other people will look at this pattern and they'll say that there's some serious consolidation going on, kind of like what we had right here in this area. And it is definitely possible that this is just consolidation right here. But you're still going to need more volume, more buying volume to push it into this very high level of resistance at this area, because this is the area in which we've seen sellers step in at the past. back when we had that July rally. This Bitcoin spent some time up here, but it was quickly pushed down after failing to break out here at about 25,200. So I am not interested in buying in this area right here, especially considering that major resistance is so close here at about 25,000. Now, if you take a look at the Bitcoin funding rate, and again, this is the aggregated funding rate, so this will give us an idea of if longs or shorts are dominant, and longs still are dominant, and they have been dominant for some time. This has kind of gone mostly sideways here, so longs, in the case of traders, have kind of diminished just a little bit, but it's kind of coming back. So I would say that it's mostly sideways right now, and so that would just suggest that longs are still very dominant at the moment. But I want to pivot here and talk about what's going on this week that's very important, and that is Tesla's earnings. So Tesla's earnings are going to be announced on the 25th of January, and the reason why that's important is because Tesla holds Bitcoin as part of their digital assets here. This is their 10K or the 10Q, and the digital assets here is listed as $228 million worth of digital assets, which, and this is September, and if you'd taken it at those September prices, puts you at about 10,000 or so Bitcoin. So Tesla owns about 10,000 or so Bitcoin. Now, they've announced in the past during their quarterly earnings that they've sold Bitcoin in the past. That's always a possibility when Tesla gives their earnings announcements, that they'll wind up selling more Bitcoin. But it also matters about their earnings and how their earnings are perceived by the market. Because as I said before, Bitcoin and the NASDAQ are heavily correlated. And so Tesla is a big enough company that they could move the entire NASDAQ by themselves. If they come out with an earnings beat, you're bound to see some positive momentum come in for that day, and that day is, as I said before, Wednesday. Okay, so you guys need to be looking out for that. I will be making a video about that, and I want to go ahead and talk about Tesla's effect on Bitcoin and Ethereum when that comes out. I also want to go ahead and give you a quick snapshot here of the exchange reserve. So the exchange reserve is basically the amount of Bitcoins on all the exchanges. And so what we've seen lately is something very interesting, and that is that this keeps going lower. So we have the price here in black. I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the exchange reserve. The exchange reserve shows that Bitcoin has done nothing on the exchanges. The exchanges have reduced their position of Bitcoin, right? And it's just gone lower and lower and lower. There are fewer and fewer and fewer Bitcoin available on the exchanges. And every single time that it gets low and noticeably low, you tend to get more volatility because there are less Bitcoin available to buy, and it could potentially push the price up a little bit higher. So the supply right now is what we're seeing has continued to decline despite the fact that the price has increased dramatically. And so what that's telling me is that there has been a total lack of Bitcoin on the exchanges right now. There's not a lot of liquidity, and there's not been a lot of selling so far. That's what it looks like to me. I also want to go ahead and talk about the realized price too real quick here. So the realized price is like an average cost basis for all Bitcoin. So what we have here is the realized price on Look Into Bitcoin, and it's very important to point out the fact that we are trading above the realized price right now. It's sitting at about 19,900, almost 20,000 or so, and we've pushed above it pretty nicely because right now we're at about almost 23,000. Now, if you look in the past, just going back to August, we've seen it happen a couple of times here, in which you've kind of had kind of a fake out, and then it's come back down lower at that point. So this is something really important to watch, and this kind of plays into my long-term thesis for Bitcoin and whether or not it's undervalued or overvalued. So if you're buying it under this line right here, that I would say that is undervalued. If you're buying it over the line, I would say that's overvalued relative to the average cost basis for Bitcoin. So whenever I'm looking to buy Bitcoin, I'm always looking to buy it below this line right here. And like I said, that's about 20,000 or so right now. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some Ethereum as well. Ethereum has not been able to break out of this resistance point right here. This is about 1655. It's had a very hard time breaking out above this resistance point. And so far, it hasn't had, just like with Bitcoin, it hasn't had the volume to push higher, though it is very close. It is very close to a breakout at 1655. It just has not had that volume to get higher. Now, above that level, what we're looking at is the 1777 level right here. And then above that level, what you're looking at is almost 2,000. So there's not a lot of air between 1777 and 2,000. So if it really rips, then it can definitely move a lot higher. Though I think just like with Bitcoin, Ethereum is probably going to experience a quick pullback before it rips higher. And I think that it's probably going to wind up pulling back to 1,500. That's going to be the first stop. And if that level doesn't hold, it might even come down here to about 1350, somewhere in that range. And again, I'm interested in buying Ethereum below those levels, hopefully below or somewhere around 1500, somewhere around 1500. And if I can get it lower than that, that would be nice. But I am waiting patiently because I don't think that this uptrend right here will continue in about a week and a half. Just like with Bitcoin, I expect it's going to pull back. Now we're going to go ahead and look at Binance Coin. Binance Coin is very interesting because right now it's attempting a breakout. We've seen this candle here push above this level. However, I would say that it is not technically broken out just yet. We can actually move this this resistance line up just a little bit just to catch the other wicks here from that November level. It is testing support for that right now, and we'll see if it'll break out. I'll probably look at this on another day to see if we have a confirmed breakout or this is a fake out. All right, one final thing I want to talk about is the Bitcoin market dominance. Okay, this is the percentage of the crypto market that is Bitcoin. Right now, it is at 44%. And Bitcoin market dominance right now is at a level that is kind of rare for Bitcoin. At least it has been for the last year or so. Because if we zoom out and we take a look at the entirety of the Bitcoin dominance for the past about a year, we can see that it rarely spends any time above this level, above this 44% level. And they tend to be very quick peaks, okay? They tend to go up and they tend to come down very sharply. And so what that means is that oftentimes when Bitcoin gets that high, oftentimes what you'll wind up seeing is you'll see people take profits and they'll move to other cryptocurrencies or they'll move to stable coins, and Bitcoin will lose a significant market share. So this is looking to be setting up in a very similar fashion. We'll probably get like a quick peak up here. That'll last probably for a week or two, and then we'll see a pullback down under this 44% level. All right. So that's all I've got for you guys today. If you like this content, let me know. Like, subscribe, and go ahead and leave a comment. So let me know what you guys are thinking about the chart TA. And if you have something or another level that you're paying attention to, I'm definitely interested in hearing about it. And if you guys want to go, if you want me to look at another chart of another crypto, I am more than happy to do so. Just leave a comment below and let me know what you're looking at. Okay, I'm Cody the Coin Raptor, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.